Okay, so I've managed to make the NPC actually move, like tile-based movement, right? So basically, in the Pokemon game, you'll have an NPC, and they'll stay still for a minute, and then they'll just decide to move, right? And then they'll wait a minute, and they'll decide to move again, right? Thing is, though, they usually move a set distance, right, from one tile to the next, because Pokemon is kind of like a tile-based game, where, um, where basically when you walk, you don't walk one pixel, but rather you walk a number of pixels every time you walk, right? Um, I was trying to implement tile-based movement a while ago by setting like a counter every time. Uh, by setting a counter every time a frame was rendered, and depending on what counter it was, it did something, right? Eventually, once the counter ran out, then that means the player would stop walking, which that might be a confusing way to explain it right now, but it was a horrible system, and it got really buggy. For some reason, I decided to smarten up this time and use the time library and just set a timer, and then just have a time different, and then just so basically, when the player starts moving, or in this case the NPC, it sets time, right? So at the it sets time which is equal to the current time, right? And then eventually, once it comes back on the next frame and executes this function, then it'll check the current time like right now, right? And it'll compare this now with the start time, and if they are too close together, right, meaning that they are not greater than however than this delta over here, then it'll just update um, with the last input. Otherwise, it'll have a random chance of moving, and then just choose a random set of coordinates, and then just update it, right? So if we went over here and we tried it, wait a minute, okay, you can see the NPC moves, right? And they move all on their own. They move a set distance every single time, and it works pretty nicely. The only and then even if I were to move around, they still move just normally. Right? Probably have to give her a little bit. I is she? She's not moving. Is that? Oh, okay, wait. Now she's moving. There we go. Okay, so yeah, so she can move even if I'm moving, and I'm pretty sure collision logic works. There we go. It's still working. So I'm not able to like push through her. But what if she tried to push against me when I'm in the way? Is she able to do that? Come on. Come on, come this way. It might be checking for collisions and then updating, so then oh yeah. So it checks for collisions first. So right now she's colliding with me, right? So then she'll go to the update function, and in the update function, it also animates it. So if it can't move in my direction, then it just doesn't update towards my direction at all. So if you're colliding with them, they're probably not going to face you at all. I guess that's something I could fix, but that's not really much of an issue. Yeah, I can live with this. I can probably... Okay, when you're going to have to interact with the NPCs and talk to them, I'll have to actually make them face you. Otherwise, this works pretty fine. I think for now I'll just try to make it a bit smoother. Or, you know, make her not like, spam the walking animation like she is right now, and make it more normal just like the players. Oh, I should probably test. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. I haven't programmed it to let the NPC go off screen yet. So it kind of makes sense that she can't get off screen. What if I get a little lower? Well, what was that? My character just spazzed. What was that? He just spazzed. That's weird. Oh, probably because they can't go off screen. That might be why. It's not that bad of an issue, though. Oh, if you're wondering why the NPC box is red, like, all around, it's because the background was technically red, even though the background was removed. I guess it's something along the line of how background removers work. So when it displays the NPC texture, it's just red. I don't know why. I can fix that later. Anyways, good progress. I'll just focus on making it a bit better, and then now that I've made NPC tile-based movement, I could probably make player tile movement. So hopefully that's gonna be a thing. See ya.